Okay, this is an assembly file. It is when you take your parts, your 4 parts or your 5, depending on which group size you have, and you put them together, and it's so you can see, if everything's fitting together, if all the tabs are in the right place, voids in the right place, all that kind of stuff. One thing that we want to look at though is, in theory, you want this tab to be the exact same size as this void. Okay, and I say in theory because in reality, when we print these, the printers have a little margin of error, and so this tab could be slightly bigger, or this void could be slightly, a little bit smaller. And so if you make things the exact same size, oftentimes, more often than not, they won't fit together. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of clearance on these tabs and make them just a tiny bit smaller. Okay, and we're only changing the tabs. You do not change the voids, just the tabs. So we're going to make this a little bit smaller, this right here a little bit smaller, this a little bit smaller, and this a little bit smaller. So everybody's going to have to do this on their own piece, one time, just on the tabs, not the voids. So I'm going to show you how to do these 4. I'm going to do this one first, then this one, because there's a little bit of difference. But once you've kind of gotten the idea, you can go try it on yours, and if you need to come back and watch the other parts, you can. So on this one here, so don't do this in the assembly file. You go and find your file. So everybody's going to go open up their own file, and we need to find out which extrusion this tab is. So I kind of hover over this browser, and I see that that is number 3. So what I do is I'm going to edit the sketch. So let me zoom in a little bit. And what I want to look for is I want to look for this offset tool. So I click offset, and what I want to offset this circle. And you just start dragging your mouse in, not out, inside the thing, because we're making it a little bit smaller. But don't click, just type 0.01. Okay, so 0.01 or 1/100th of an inch. We're going to move that in that much. So you hit 0.01, you hit enter, and now it's a little bit smaller. Now I hit finish sketch, and you will see that nothing has changed yet because we edited the sketch, but we need to edit the feature now also. So now I'm going to right click on this, same thing, edit feature this time. And what we want is we don't want this outer ring, okay? And I'm not exactly sure how to just unselect this, so I think the easiest thing to do is, and if you figure out how to do it, let me know. But I've found I just do this and I clear the selections, meaning it's not extruding anything, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to click just the inside one. And I hit OK. And you'll see now that this thing is a little bit smaller. Now, it's hard to see that it's smaller, but let's go back to the assembly file. Now, if I look at the assembly file now, let me turn this, you can see that that is a little bit smaller, giving it a little bit of room. And notice how it's just the tab part, okay? This is still the same size. It's just that part that got a little bit smaller. So let me show you the next one. The next one is the bottom left one, because there's a little slight difference on this one. So now I find that, so that on this one it's extrusion 2. So I'm going to edit the sketch. I'm going to get the offset tool, and I want to offset this in 0.01. Now here is the problem. So when it offset this, it moves this thing in, but look how it didn't connect this down to that. So we wouldn't be able to extrude just this because it's not a closed-in shape. But there is a tool that can help you extend this line out to different things if it's a straight line. It is the extend button. So I click extend. I just kind of click on this line. You'll kind of see a little preview. You just click, and look, it extends that thing down to there. And I got to zoom out a little bit, go down to this one, and do the same thing. Extend it to that. So now I've made that 1/100th of an inch smaller. I hit finish sketch. Again, it didn't change anything yet. I'm going to go over here, double click on this, or right click and edit. I'm going to unselect this by clicking this X right here to clear all the selections, so clearing the profiles. So I clear the profiles, and then I select just the inside one and hit OK. And you will see that, well, it's hard to see, but if you look at the assembly file, you will see that it got a little bit smaller. You can see there's a little gap right there. That's what you want, a little gap. So at this point, if you want to go on and try it on your own, you can. But if you're having trouble, come back and watch how I do this one and this one over here. All right, so let's do bottom right. So bottom right is this triangle sticking out here. So we're going to find that, which is it's this one here. So let's double click on this, edit the sketch, click offset. Offset these things, just move the mouse in, type 0.01 or 0.01, hit enter. And you will see on this one, look, this one, the lines go in the shape, but it doesn't matter because as long as it's, selecting this profile, we're okay. So I hit finish sketch. I go back and I double click on the extrusion to edit it. I clear the selection and I select just the inside part and hit OK. And we can go back and check the assembly just to make sure. You can see now that the triangle has a little gap. That's what we want. So remember, no gap here, gap around the thing that is coming off, the shape that's coming off of the 1x2 rectangle. And the last one is the top right. So I find that, it's that one there. I'm going to double click on that. I'm going to get the offset tool, drag that in, and type 0.01, enter, finish sketch. Go over here, double click on the extrusion or edit the feature, clear the selection, and select just the inside thing. And let's check the assembly file. And you can see all of these have that there's a gap right there on that tab, gap around that one, gap all around that, and gap there. So that is what we want. Remember, you are not changing the voids, just the tabs.